CNBC's Phil LeBeau joins us. He's got American Airlines CEO Robert Isom with him. Phil.
Thank you, Andrew. Robert, we are here in the Nerve Center, in the Operations Center. This is where you manage all of your flights around the world. But here in the United States, the question is, with the government shutdown and with fewer flights flying, how did you make the decision? You've got about 221 flights that were scheduled for today that you've now canceled. How did you make that decision in terms of what flights to get rid of?
Well, Phil, I'll just start with this. This is frustrating. You know, we don't need to be in this position. We've got to get the government back open so we don't have to cancel flights. But what we've done today is we tried to minimize the impact on all of our customers. It's only 220 flights out of, 6,200 flights. And we've done it in a way that really impacts our smaller aircraft. And it's more taking frequencies like Miami to Orlando from 9 flights to 8 flights, or DFW to Corpus Christi from 7 flights to 6 flights. It's that kind of stuff right now. Now, this level of cancellation is going to grow over time. And, that's something that is going to be problematic.
And we'll talk about that in a bit. But I want to ask about these flights that were canceled today. That might be maybe 10,000 people who have to redo their travel schedules. Any issues rebooking them? Because there's not a lot of slack in the system.
There's not a lot of slack in the system. But right now, our customers are going to be fine. We're making sure that they know well in advance of getting to the airport if their travel plans have been disrupted. And it's a very small portion of the total 650,000 customers that we have in a given day. We're going to make sure that our customers are taken care of no matter what. And then, Phil, I just want to say safety is the priority. So I commend all of our air traffic controllers, TSA agents. And at the end of the day, Administrator Bedford's doing the right thing by trying to get in front of this problem.
But how worried are you? Look, we've got good weather around the country right now. God forbid we have a bad storm roll through the southeast or the northeast or anywhere. How frustrating will it be to try to handle that and the cancellations that go with that?
Let's get the government back open. That's the first key. We don't need to have this problem right now, but we're going to make sure that safety is priority, and we will handle storms and other things. But you're right. As this problem grows and as cancellations grows, there's not a lot of slack in the system. And managing the airline, managing the industry becomes exponentially harder as you increase the level of cancellations.
Talk about that, because this is not simply, you're not doing this flight from here to there.
Right.
Aircraft have to be parked. Crews have to be rerouted. Is that the biggest challenge at this point, separate from the passengers?
It's an incredibly complex environment that we deal in. And so whether it's planes that need to be maintained, our pilots that have to maintain currency, our crews, right, when you cancel a flight today, right, they don't just simply pick up where they left off. They have to be totally rearranged. So all of this it just creates complexity that makes it harder and harder. And our customers shouldn't be dealing with this. We're here in our integrated operations center. We shouldn't be dealing with, all the complexity and the rework that's going on. This is something where we've got to get the government back open.
We are 20 days from Thanksgiving.
Right.
A lot of people have already made their plans, but they're also going to make them beyond Thanksgiving for the holidays. Are you starting to notice an impact on bookings?
Well, of course there's an impact. Nobody wants to put up with hassle. And again, we're doing everything we can to make sure our customers know. But as we get into the busiest travel, part of the year, this is something that we just can't let happen. And Phil, on that, I'm confident that, everybody in the government understands how important aviation is to the overall economy. 1 in every 11 jobs is somehow related to travel and tourism, hospitality. We can't bring, a bigger, wider group into this, situation that we find ourselves in today.
And just to reiterate this point at the beginning, it's 3% of the flights for the system overall today, 4% to the top 40 markets, but it goes up from here. How tricky does that become to manage as it goes up close to 10% cancellations? And if we're there by the end of next week, what kind of stress does that put on the industry overall?
Well, we're not canceling any service to any smaller markets. We're not, we're making sure that there's presence that's maintained. Today, I mentioned that, we can handle this 4% by reducing frequencies. But next, it becomes a lot harder. You're going to be really digging into, some more heavily traveled areas. And on that, as you get to 10%, let's face it, 10% is a big number.
Robert Isom, here in the Operations Center at American Airlines. Guys, interesting being down here. I mean, they're handling everything, but you can tell, and you can tell when you fly, people are frustrated, and they're at the heart of it right here. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Hey, Phil, while you have him there, I know I can't talk to him, but I was just checking some of his comments and the appearance at the White House. There's a perception that the airline industry has sided with the White House and Republicans on this for asking for a clean CR. That's at least the perception. I know Scott Kirby made similar comments, and
so I'll ask him this. This is a question from Joe. Joe says there is a perception that the airline CEOs and the industry is siding with the White House in terms of a clean CR to get the government reopened. Do you have a position here in terms of one party over the other?
Absolutely not. We're not political in any of this. We're for getting the government back open. And if a clean CR is the way to do that, absolutely. But whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you need to understand the impact that we're having on the traveling public, on all of our team members, and ultimately on the health of the industry in the long run.
All right. There you go, Joe.